Today I'll be telling a personal story from my childhood. My name is Kaylin Cazares, and this is a story we like to tell during family gatherings. We think it's pretty funny. I hope you enjoy it. I was around 8 years old. My brother is 9, and my younger cousin, she's 7, so we're all about a year apart. And we slept over my aunt's house. Her house was a guest house, so it was very small, just one bedroom, kitchen, living room, bathroom, and a bedroom. And it was apart from the main house. It was just her and her husband that lived there. On this day, her husband was at work, and I was in the bedroom playing Mario Kart on my Nintendo DS, and my cousin Vanessa was in the kitchen. She and my brother were in the main house with her brother, who was my uncle at the time. And I'm there playing video games, and I hear my cousin Vanessa shout from the kitchen. She goes, "Caitlin, help!" So I rush out. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm expecting there to be a fire or something drastically wrong. And she's just there frozen in front of the fridge. And I was like, I have to go around to see her because the fridge door was covering. And I'm like, what's going on? What's wrong? And she goes, "Caitlin, look!" And I see the problem. She dropped a whole cheesecake on her foot. Not a slice, the whole thing. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we just bought this morning. We have to clean this up before Anna gets mad and figures out what happened. So I flip over the cheesecake off her foot on the tray and then put the lid back on, shove it to the back of the fridge, and I clean up her foot and I clean up the floor, and I'm thinking, all right, if it's shoved in the back and with some things in front of it, she'll forget about it. You know, out of sight, out of mind. And so we do forget about it. She never brings it up. We're playing video games on our Nintendo DS's, playing Mario Kart, and then it's time for her to go home. So all 4 of us get in the car, me, my brother, Vanessa, and my aunt. We get in the car, drop off Vanessa, and then she goes back home where my mom is already on her way to pick us up. Because me and Vanessa, we lived in 2 different directions. So my mom was on her way to get us. And so Anna says, "Hey guys, I forgot about the cheesecake that we bought. Do you guys want a slice?" And I go, "No, I don't want a slice." And my brother goes, "Yeah, I want a slice." And I'm like, I look at my brother, and I'm like, "No, you don't. You don't want a slice." I give him the look, you know, like, "Are you sure you want a slice? You don't want one." And he goes, "Yeah, I do." And Anna says, "What's wrong? Why don't you want him to have one?" And I'm like, "We've just had too much sugar, you know? We're not supposed to eat that much. We had cookies today." She's like, "You're not at your house, you're at mine. You can have as much sugar as you want." And so she always liked to spoil us that way. And I go, "Okay." And so she takes the cheesecake out of the fridge and she goes, "What the hell?" Shouts. She is mad. She's like, "What happened to this?" And she looks at the fridge. It's smeared with the cheesecake. I forgot to clean the fridge. I only cleaned the floor and Vanessa's foot. So it's very clear that the cheesecake was dropped and it wasn't smushed by the other things in the fridge. And she goes, "Someone dropped this. What happened? Who did this?" And so I say, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it." And so my brother goes, "Yeah, I didn't do that." And so she's like, "Okay guys, I'm gonna trust you and I'm gonna ask my brother who was in the main house." She goes over to the main house and he says, "No, I haven't been in your house all day. It's just been you guys." And so she goes back into the house and she's like, "Okay, Abraham, my uncle, her brother, says that it was, you know, he hasn't been in here. My husband's been at work all day, so we've been the only ones in here. So if you guys didn't do it, then I'm thinking someone broke in here." And me and my brother burst into laughter. She threatens to call the police because she thinks the home has been broken into. Obviously, we don't think she actually believes that, but she's trying to scare us into telling the truth. And so me and my brother, we burst into laughter at how ridiculous that sounds. Imagine, we are 8 and 9 years old. We are smart enough to understand how burglary works. First, we say, why would someone break into the tiny house and not the big house? And then why would someone go in here, steal, take the cheesecake out of the fridge, drop it on the floor, messily put it back, and then run out? It doesn't make any sense. There's a computer by the door. Why wouldn't someone just take that and leave? And so we're just there laughing. We're like, who would do that? It's so dumb. And so my aunt, she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You guys think you're so smart, you know so much. And she's like, okay, well then someone didn't break in then. So if it wasn't you two, then who did it? And so she decides she's gonna call Vanessa to see if she knows anything, because obviously it had to be either me, Vanessa, or my brother. And so she calls Vanessa. She's like, hey, I found the cheesecake. Did you drop it? And Vanessa says, no, I didn't drop it. And so my aunt says, well, someone had to do it. So then she asked me and my brother again while staying on the line with Vanessa. She says, hey, Vanessa says she didn't drop it. Did one of you two do it? And I say, I didn't do it. And she said, okay, you didn't do it. Do you know who did? Tell me what happened. Because I obviously very defensively knew that something happened. And I say, I didn't do it. She says, who did it? I didn't do it. She's like, I'm not asking, did you do it? I'm asking who did it. And I just say, I didn't do it. Because me, I wasn't going to be a liar and say I didn't know who did it. And I also didn't want to be a snitch and write off my cousin. So she goes back on the phone with my cousin Vanessa. She says, hey, what happened? Caitlin and Miguel say they didn't do it. Did you drop the cheesecake? And she goes, no, I swear I didn't do it. And she said, all right, I'm going to call your mom and see what happened, okay? If I tell your mom, it's going to be turned into a bigger deal, and she's going to get you in trouble if you end up lying to me. And she was like, fine, I did it. I'm sorry. I panicked. I didn't know. And so my aunt says, okay, thank you for being honest with me. I'm not going to tell your mom. Just please be honest with me next time. Vanessa goes, okay, I'm not going to lie to you again. And so she hangs up with Vanessa, and she turns to me. She's like, Vanessa says that you helped her clean it up. And I go, yeah. And she said, why weren't you honest with me? And I was like, I thought you would get us in trouble. And she's like, you wouldn't have gotten in trouble if you just told me from the beginning. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. And so my mom comes home, Anna tells her what happened, and my mom is mad at us. And so we get inside the car, and my mom's like, hey guys, you shouldn't lie to Anna like that. You should just be honest with her. She loves you guys, she loves spoiling you. She's very nice to you guys. Just be nice in return, be honest with her, don't give her extra stress. And we were like, yeah, okay. And then we tell her our version of events, where some of the ridiculous things she said about, the burglar coming in, dropping the cheesecake, making a big deal out of it. And we thought it was really funny. That was the main point of the story where we thought was really funny, where she was, someone must have done it. She has a very strong presence. Like, she got really mad, but in a funny way. That, I don't know, me and my brother just thought it was really funny that she tried tricking us by saying she would call the police. Because obviously, she knew that that's not plausible, and we knew that it wasn't possible either. So, that was just a story. The moral of the story is, if you're gonna lie about something, and you know you're gonna get caught eventually, just be honest about it right away. And if you don't, at least make it worthwhile and let it be a funny story for the future. Thank you for listening.